Welcome back to my channel. My name is Ryan James, and today we're going to talk about the real reason you're not actually posting your work. Spoiler alert, it's because you think it's not good enough. So today we're going to have basically a quick sketch and chat, a drink and draw without the drink, maybe the coffee, I don't know. Anyway, I'm working through this sketchbook of my 2021, this is, Inktober's. I basically got like halfway through it. That was a bit of a rough year for me, so I hate having a sketchbook unfinished. So when it feels not completed, I just, my OCD doesn't like it. So I'm going through this one, just going prompt by prompt, just finishing it, and then I'm going to do a nice review, video, walkthrough at the end. I think if you're on my Instagram, you'd have seen half of these anyway, but there's more to do. So let's have a chat about why we're not posting while I do a little sketch for us. It starts in the same way near enough every single time I do it. This is a cyclical thing that seems to happen. You might have noticed that I've gone from posting every Thursday to maybe once, twice a month, and I haven't even really been doing it that long. At least in a way that I've been attempting this year to be more dedicated to YouTube and to find my creative tribe and to basically turn this art obsession of mine from a hobby / career into more of a small business something. I'm sat here with 200 pieces of art and I basically need to find places for them. So it just makes sense for me to try and turn this into a business. The problem is I feel like I'm kind of starting a little bit late, and I got onto the internet, although I've been on the internet, Christ, since pre-MySpace days. Whew, that's thinking back. But putting a YouTube channel out there in an already saturated market, in an already saturated art space, where so many artists are making way better art than me, and so many artists are way better at content creation than me, I just got really embarrassed, I guess, and I started to go down that comparison route where I was looking at, 12-year-olds doing these huge movie epics, and then I turn up with my dog and pony show and just like, here's my little sketch I did, look at me. And I kind of went into that mentality of impact, like I want to make an impact with my art, but that's kind of a young person's goal. I'd rather have, my nature is just to have more presence within my art and to create it from a space of interest, fascination, delight, emotional connection, all of these things. And like I said in my last video, I began to create with the story of how it's going to be presented in mind, rather than the actual making of the art itself. And that just came from a place of a lack of value in my work and a lack of value in my art, and really looking at my work with almost a 20-year-old mindset, where you're sort of reaching out into the world. And thing is, I'm not a 20-year-old, I'm in my 40s now, and my goals are different, and my ideas are different, and the things I want to create are different, and the way I want to relate is different. I have this huge history behind me, full of things that I think can really, really help. And I think that's why I stopped creating, because I started to think and try to help how other people were helping. I fell into that trap of trying to tell other people's stories rather than relying on what my strengths are, which is my history. I have a lot of things that I've done, a lot of mistakes I've made, and a lot of things I think that I've done that can help other artists, younger, older, although particularly older, as well, because I want to make sure that a hall pass is given to artists starting later. I mean, in my wildest dreams, I'd love to be that hall pass for anybody embracing their work. But for now, for this video, that's a whole separate thing. But for now, the reason I stopped, and the reason I stopped making and really reaching out in a consistent way, was just basically down to the fact that I didn't think my work was good enough. I didn't think that my content creation was good enough. The art itself I think is decent, but the way I was presenting it I don't think is great. The problem is you don't get great unless you learn in public. Ooh, none of us like that. And I don't like that. I don't like being this sort of messy in this messy space all the time, but that's just part of making. It's just part of what it is. No matter what you're doing, no matter what you're drawing, no matter what you're creating, you're going to have this space where you are just going to have to look like a little bit of a mess. Again, thankfully, my history comes in handy there, because I've been a mess many times in my life. But yeah, so this is kind of where I'm restarting now, centering myself back in my own ideas and back in doing the things that I want to do, and just being more consistent in the way I show up for myself rather than in the way I show up for an algorithm or a YouTube channel, although I do plan on being here a little bit more. My videos tend to come out on a Thursday because that's my day off, and that's when I can really sort of get my teeth into really making art and finishing off stuff. Although in my defense, I have had this really massive commission recently, so that's taken a good few weeks out of everything. It was just frustrating because I promised myself at the beginning of the year that I would spend a whole year dedicated to showing up on YouTube to find people like me and to connect with people like me. And then I found myself 4-5 months in starting to wane and diminish and get sluggish and lose desire for all of it. But underneath it all was the idea that I'm either too old, too untalented, or just not good enough to be in this space. And I know from an intellectual perspective, none of that is true. That might sound a bit arrogant, but it's just I've internalized those judgments a little bit. And every time you take a step forward in your life, who you were will sometimes need to be shed in order for you to become who you are today. And I don't think I'd taken sufficient time and patience with myself to really go through some of those processes. I will talk about them more if you want me to, who knows, but like I said, this is a dialogue, not just a showcase. But yeah, so that's kind of where I've been. And if you recognize some of yourself in this, if you're not showing up because you choose not to or because you need a break, that's fine. But I would hope that I would hope that you would explore behind the reasoning, and if you do find that sense of shame or that sense of you're not allowed in this space, that just comes from a place of self-worth. And I think all art has a space. You didn't promise the world that you would be a great artist. You just promised the world that you would make art. And here is the finished piece. Here it is. The prompt was vampire. And it was from, like I said, the Inktober 2021 prompts. I think I think it might be better on a black background. I might add that at a later time. We'll chuck it through a Photoshop thing and see what I can make with that. But yeah, I'm pretty okay with how that came out. Although somebody said it looked like a realistic Jack Skellington. I'll take it. So I hope that helped a little bit. None of us have promised the world that we are going to be incredible artists. I think the best we can do is promise ourselves that we can just show up to the table and do our best. And when you think about it that way, then this whole self-worth thing is a measure between you and your capacity to show up for yourself. Keep other people out of that relationship as best you can. And yeah, I just hope that helped. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. I hope to see you again soon, and yeah, good luck with everything. I can't wait to see what you're making. Let me know and introduce yourself down in the comments and do all the subscribing and the liking and all that sort of stuff. So love you very much. See you soon. Take care. Ooh, look at me with the bonus content. Anyway, here is another sketch from the same sketchbook that I haven't shown anyone yet, really. So it's on that same theme of owls from that year, 2021. So I'm going to do more of those anyway. But yeah, I thought I'd share a little something as to sort of whet your appetite as to the big sketchbook reveal at some point.